You are listening to the Keep the Weight Off podcast with Dr. Angela
and Marshall,
episode number 150.
Welcome to the Keep the Weight Off podcast, where we bust all the dieting myths and discover not just how to lose weight, but more importantly, how to keep it off. We go way beyond the food, and we use science and psychology to give you strategies that work. And now your host, Dr. Angela Zechmann.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the podcast this week. We've got so much to talk about this week. First off, Marshall, you have had COVID. How are you doing?
I did.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just coming off the tail end of it. I've been out of the clinic for the last week. I feel totally disconnected to everything and everybody. And my husband and I both got it, and we're both completely isolated from the world. So,
well, the clinic's just not the same without you. I can tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah. I've had some nice well-wishers, some of our patients that have messaged me through this week. So thank you to everybody that's sent me a nice message.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you're able to talk, because I was like, we might have to not do the podcast this week, So, because I remember when I had COVID, I couldn't have done a podcast. Like, I was coughing constantly.
No, I still have a voice. And like I said, I'm coming off the tail end of it. So I'm just about back to normal.
All right. Well, good.
Thanks
God.
for asking, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God. And then we've got more, because this is episode number 150. So,
oh my goodness.
So if we do one episode a week and there's 52 weeks each year, that means we're almost at 3 years doing this podcast.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
I think that's just mind-boggling. 3 years of doing this podcast is, if we make it to our 200th episode, we're going to have a big celebration.
We definitely need to do that. It's been so fun. We have covered so much information and just covered so many heartfelt topics. And I just hope that the information that you're getting out to, or we're getting out to people, are helping. I hope that people are sharing our information with the public. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, great.
Yeah, we definitely have a different take on how to manage obesity. And, we're all about stopping all the crazy dieting, start recognizing what toxic foods are doing to us. Let's stop thinking about avoiding them because we're dieting and start thinking about avoiding them because they're toxic. And so it's just a different way of looking at it. So be sure, a really good way to let people know about this podcast is, if you have some tech skills, is to just screenshot the podcast on your phone and then just share it on your socials and say, hey, this is a great podcast. Listen to this podcast. And that way you can share it without too much effort on your part, right? You just take a screenshot and then share the picture on your socials. And that will work really, really well. So we appreciate anyone who is working at helping us get the word out, because there's so much misinformation out there about obesity. And now we have all of these compounding medications that are, really messing things up. And there's just so much that needs to be, the truth needs to be told about this disease. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox now. I have a special announcement this week. So next week, I'm going to be holding a Belly Busters challenge, and I'm super excited about it. So I wanted to let everybody know about the challenge and what I have planned for you if you decide to join us in the challenge.
Oh, I love when we do these challenges. I don't know what it is about the Belly Buster challenge, but it always gets me super pumped up and motivated. And I just love it. This is my favorite time of the year, is when we start to kick things off. Yeah.
So, and when we're doing these challenges as a group, it's just a whole different experience, right?
It is. Yeah. Yep.
So the first question that you might have as a listener is, why do I call this the Belly Busters challenge? So why not call it a weight loss challenge or a sugar detox challenge or something like that? And
why do you call it the Belly Busters challenge?
Well, it's a really good question, because I actually had a woman make this criticism. She said, anyone who's ever been on a diet knows you can't spot reduce. So you can't get rid of belly fat specifically. You can't do a bunch of sit-ups and get rid of it. So you, Dr. Angela, are misleading people when you call this the Belly Busters Challenge, right?
Well, okay. So we know that you don't like to mislead people. We know that
No.
you always tell the truth.
Uh-huh.
So how do you answer that question? I mean, like what is your response to a question like that?
Yeah. So it's a really good question. Why would I call it a Belly Busters Challenge when you can't spot reduce? So here's the answer. There's actually more than one type of fat in the belly. There's the fat that's under the skin, which is called subcutaneous fat. Sub means under, right? And cutaneous means skin. So subcutaneous fat is that soft, squishy fat that's right under the skin in all of us. So we all have genetics that will determine how much fat is where. That's right under our skin. So you may have genetics that cause you to have a lot of fat on your hips and thighs. This is nothing abnormal, nothing to worry about. Most women, as they age, go through menopause and they have more fat on the abdomen and hips. And all of this is a perfectly normal process. The soft, squishy fat is normal fat and not something that you can spot reduce and not something you really need to be worried about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm following you on this. So
okay. So why do I call this the Belly Busters Challenge if you can't spot reduce belly fat? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's because in the belly, there are actually two types of fat. There's not just the subcutaneous, soft, squishy fat that's on the outside,
right?
But there's also a type of fat called visceral fat. And viscera is I want to say the Italian word. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the root of it is the Latin root of viscera means organ. Okay.
Okay.
So visceral fat is not under the skin. It's inside the abdominal cavity and it's around the organs. Okay. So this fat is not normal, healthy fat. This fat is also called sick fat because it actually causes disease. So we've talked about visceral fat on this podcast before, but I want to review it for all of our listeners. Visceral fat is not ordinary, soft, squishy fat. These fat cells are engorged with fat, and they are hard. They're like rock hard. They're not the soft, squishy things. And they become organs, and they're producing their own hormones. So it's like there's this whole other big, huge gland inside your abdomen secreting hormones, and these hormones are toxic. So these hormones create inflammation, leading to heart disease and strokes, the leading cause of death in the Western world. The inflammation puts you at very high risk for cancer. The liver becomes inflamed, causing serious liver disease. The inflammation in joints causes joint pain and destroys the joints, keeping our orthopedic surgeons really busy doing back surgeries and joint replacements.
God, this all sounds really scary.
It is. It really is. Visceral fat also produces excessive levels of estrogen, which can cause the uterus to get enlarged with fibroids, leading to a condition called dysfunctional uterine bleeding, or DUB for short. And this can cause anemia and extreme fatigue. Many times, women, by the time they get in to see us, they've already had hysterectomies because they've had great big fibroids. So I could go on and on and on about how toxic visceral fat is. And that's what we're going to work on in the Belly Busters Challenge. Okay. So
great.
We're not trying to spot reduce normal subcutaneous fat. We're working very specifically at visceral fat. Okay. So I'll be helping all of our challenge participants to understand just how toxic belly fat is at a whole new level and learning what causes it and how to get rid of it. And we'll do it all together as a community in a dedicated Facebook group. We've already got hundreds of people who signed up. So it's going to be awesome.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. I hope that helps anybody who has any questions out there about this.
So I'll be teaching you for 4 days straight, Monday through Thursday. I'm going to give you little exercises to do every day so that you'll really sort of be assimilating the information I'm teaching. And that makes you eligible for daily prizes, which is really fun. There's really nothing out there quite like this to really help you understand a lot of what causes so much disability and early death in our country, and exactly what to do so that you can have a happy, healthy life and you can live a long time and you can live long enough to see your grandchildren grow up and, not have to go to their graduations in a wheelchair. Like, there's so much wonderful stuff that can happen when you understand belly fat and how to get rid of it. It's really life-changing information. So I'm teaching you all the science, but I'm teaching it in an easily understandable way so you can take it bit by bit. You can ask questions along the way, and it's a ton of fun and a great learning experience for anyone who signs up.
Yeah, I love the Belly Buster Challenge. You know why I love it so much is because anybody can do anything for a few days. It's like I get really nervous when somebody says, 30 days of something or, 6 months of something. When somebody just says, hey, if you could just do something that's going to change your life and you do it for a few days with us, I feel like it's not overwhelming. It's doable. It's exciting. It gets me motivated. So I just really love when we do the Belly Busters Challenge. So I do have a question about it though. How do we get signed up?
Okay. What you do is you go to a website, journeybeyondweightloss.com/challenge. Okay. And the challenge is going to be next week. So that's January 22nd through the 25th. That's Monday through Thursday. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern. So depending on where you are in the country, it should be pretty close to your lunch hour. If that's not a good time, don't worry about it because you can watch the replay at a time that works for you. Just be sure that if you want credit for the homework assignments, that you get them posted in time, and you'll get all of these details once you sign up. So it's not going to be a difficult thing. And just so you know, I usually do a bonus body composition testing discussion the week after the challenge so that you can really understand how to make sure you're losing that visceral fat and not losing a bunch of muscle mass while you're in the process of doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's because if anybody doesn't realize this, that's how we measure the visceral fat. So, so if you wanted to keep track of that, you could come in and if you're around somebody who can do a body composition test, you can go in and get your, baseline, your initial baseline reading, and then you could come back every month and, get another test and do some comparisons. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm showing you exactly what to look for on the body composition testing. I'm showing you where to find a body composition test near you. So there's just so much information that is really, really important to understand. And of course, we're all doing this as a group, and I'm answering questions live, and it's just great. It's really great fun. So I love doing these challenges. I love seeing light bulbs go off for people. I love knowing that people are learning information that really isn't available in this way anywhere else. And they're learning, more importantly, the whys and the hows.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
so
fantastic.
That's what's so important, right? So if you want to sign up for the Belly Busters Challenge, just go to journeybeyondweightloss.com/challenge. And we'll put a link up in the show notes so that you can go right to it. Marshall, do you have any questions or anything else you want to add?
No, just sign up. Everybody sign up. Yeah. It's fun.
It's really fun. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening this week. I hope to see you in the Belly Busters Challenge next week. And remember, the registration page is at journeybeyondweightloss.com/challenge. Take care, and we'll see you all in the challenge next week. Bye, everyone.
All right. We'll see you there. Bye, everybody.
Hey, if you really want to lose weight and keep it off for good, your next step is to sign up for Dr. Angela's free weight loss course, where you're going to learn everything you need to get started on your weight loss journey the right way. Just head over to journeybeyondweightloss.com/free course to sign up. Also, it would be awesome if you could take a few moments and write a review on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you in Journey Beyond Weight Loss.